Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. In today's video, we'll be diving into some 8.2 patch stuff happening over on BlizzCon and telling you guys some of the information happening in the future of World of Warcraft. Now, if you're wondering why I sound so perplexed, I was actually surprised that Blizzard is throwing us so much information with patch not 8.1, which is what I expected, not even 8.1.5, which was, inevitable, but 8.2 and further. Like, Blizzard really has this expansion completely planned out. I was actually kind of impressed and also so confused because we're just getting patch 8.1 very soon, and yet there's still so much more to come. It felt like it was an overload of information. So in this video, I want to cover everything that is happening in terms of patch 8.2, everything that is to be expected, specifically in patch 8.2, and to try to break this information down for you guys as best as possible. Without further ado, let's get into the video. After the great battle of Outlaw, which is going to be happening in patch 8.1 and 8.1.5, the Alliance and Horde will both need to take a rest. This is where the Naga will emerge to try to take advantage of the situation. With the rise of the Naga, we'll also find a brand new zone of the Naga where they reside from and can take the fight directly to them. The zone is called Nazjatar, and it's going to have a lot of different wards to it. There's the palace, the ruins, and it's gonna look basically like an underwater sea floor minus all that water, which I've seen in the game prior. I've seen something like this in Guild Wars 2 done for the lower end game zones, but trust me, I feel like a lot of you guys are gonna love it. I love with the idea that a new continent for us to hang out at is going to be nice, but also the fact that Horde and Alliance will have to meet each other a lot more often. I feel like the brand new zones that they gave us for BFA, even though there's only 3 zones per faction, are pretty big. They're pretty spread out. And when I'm on my Horde character running around in war mode, I don't really see a lot of Alliance characters. So Nazjatar is going to force Alliance and Horde to try to coexist and eventually get into fights. And I think it's going to be super exciting and great amounts of world PvP on that zone. Part of what we will be doing on Nazjatar is fighting the Naga, and we will actually be befriending some of the creatures that in the past have supported the Naga. The Sea Giants, the Goblin, the Makura, and others. And that offers potential new allied races, and a lot of guys are speculating that this blue boy might be the next allied race for the Alliance, most likely. The raid that will come with this brand new zone is going to be called Azshara's Eternal Palace. We're finally taking the fight to Azshara, one of the bigger villains of World of Warcraft universe. We already know that the fight is going to be 8 bosses. It's going to have a Naga hatchery apparently. Maybe an underwater boss was teased, and of course the Queen Azshara. Now, I don't really know about underwater combat. I feel like that would be very gimmicky. I really hope Blizzard doesn't do that, because that could have potentially really bad consequences. I hope they're just messing with it, and maybe there's going to be some sort of underwater mechanic, but hopefully it won't be related to combat, because I feel like it would be just too confusing. Even as someone who raids on mythic level, I don't really know if I would want to see that or would find that all that fun. Have you ever been hanging out in Turgard Sound thinking, what is that scrap pile of heap all about? What is the purpose of it, and is it there for randomly no reason? Well, Blizzard is actually giving some use to that scrap pile of heap by making it a brand new zone called Mechagon. It's going to be a gnome-inspired, very much steampunk-y zone full of gnomes, but not only gnomes, but mecha gnomes. Also another potential recruit for the Alliance, mind you, that might be available as an allied race in the future. With this new content, we're also getting a brand new mythic-only dungeon called Mechagon Mega Dungeon. It's a mega dungeon because it has 8 bosses in it, and it also has King Mechagon as the final boss. Most dungeons have 4 bosses, unless you're thinking of Waycrest that has 5. So this is basically Karazhan, lower and upper, just with a whole new gnomish spin. I actually like it, and I like the idea of like big dungeons that'll be separated as 2 separate Mythic Plus dungeons that you can just explore. I hope the content will be challenging. It looks super exciting, and some of the art they got going for it really does appeal to the whole gnomish theme. Some of the other parts of the gameplay in 8.2 is we're going to have a continuation to the story. The continuation with the rise of Azshara, more focus on Alliance versus Horde combat. Apparently they have Sylvanas with Xal'atath, which is a Shadow Priest artifact weapon from Legion. So that's gonna obviously not bring any old gods or anything, right? In my earlier videos, we talked a bit about new heritage armor for both gnomes and Tauren, which looks absolutely amazing. Link down below if you guys want to see a separate video just on that. And in patch 8.2, we're also getting 2 new expedition locations. We have the island of Crestfall and Snow Blossom, a Mist of Pandaria themed island. I'm actually very excited about Snow Blossom to see Pandaren living on a separate island, because I feel like that's very likely, because that's what they did for basically before Mist of Pandaria. I actually am wondering if Blizzard is going to update and amp up a lot of the island content. They're bringing a lot of the island stuff in 8.1, so hopefully it'll live up to the task. And hopefully we'll be actually excited for Crestfall and Snow Blossom with all the changes they'll be making in future patches. Blizzard is also going to be adding heroic Warfronts in patch 8.2. Queue up for it with 9 other friends and play Warfronts with higher difficulty and epic rewards. I feel like this is actually awesome. You can get together with your raid, with a group of friends, or maybe with random people and run this heroic Warfront for better rewards. It's like a PvE style system, PvE style combat with MOBA-esque elements where enemies don't really function like your average NPCs that you would meet in dungeons and raids. This has actually been very much requested, some kind of a harder version of Warfront, and I think it's going to be good. It's going to give players that already play World of Warcraft, especially people that play in groups, whether you are in raids or Mythic Plus groups or in arenas, another thing to do with your friends and guildies. I think it's going to be awesome to have raid night maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday is going to be heroic Warfront night. Sunday can be the heroic reclear for the original raids, and then in the off time you do a lot of Mythic Pluses and arenas in your own time. And they also have rewards to match up for it. I think overall this is really good. And the reason I'm excited about this is because I really wanted Warfronts to matter. I didn't want it to be some side activity that you queue into and then you just win by default. I actually wanted it to be a little bit challenging. I wanted to work for it and get the rewards appropriate for it. Because what else do you do in Warfronts besides sitting in the mines collecting ore while everybody plays this game for you, where I don't need to build resources, I don't need to build troops, I just need to mine ore and invest into buildings and do it over and over and over until the group wins for me. Overall, super excited about heroic Warfronts. There's also a few smaller things getting added. There'll be a brand new arena called Mechagon Arena. And Mechagon Arena looks like a flat arena with no line of sight. It looks like a massive arena, but literally no LOS. So that'll be very interesting how that will end up being played. Maybe that will be what the WoW community has been asking for. No LOS and hugging pillars. We also, by 8.2, will have a Battle for Azeroth Season 3 with new Nazjatar-themed seasonal affix for Mythic Plus, a brand new PvP season, and of course an item level increase for everybody. Also, Pathfinding Part 2 will be coming out with patch 8.2, so we'll finally be able to fly around in Kul Tiras and Zandalar. I'm going to guess that in Nazjatar we won't be able to fly around because you'll be able to skip a lot of those zones. So that will probably be locked from flying, but everywhere else you'll be able to get around content, do world quests, and level even faster. I feel like if you are a fan of World of Warcraft and you have a patience of a god, this is probably one of the most exciting things in the world, to know that there's going to be so much more. With patch 8.1, as exciting as it is, and it's coming out very soon, with patch 8.1.5 bringing in new allied races, also super exciting, but to know that there's so much more to come out after those patches is super great. The only thing that really irks me is the fact that it's not gonna happen for such a long while, so by the time I make this video and by the time the patch hits, this video is going to be way beyond any kind of relevancy. But overall, I'm super excited. I cannot wait. There's a lot of cool stuff that's coming out. I love Blizzard throwing in new ideas. I like the Naga theme, and I feel like it's time to face Azshara. I also love the Mechagon, everything from the arena to the dungeon to the whole theme of gnomes. And I was saying for a while, I feel like gnomes deserve a little bit more credit than they have been getting as of recently. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts about patch 8.2. I'd like to hear from you guys. As always, if you guys want to be updated to anything new for World of Warcraft, subscribe to the channel, hitting the like button and hitting the notification bell is going to be the most helpful for me as well as for you. Likes allow my videos to reach a wider audience, and notifications let you guys know whenever a video or a live stream is up and running. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd like to hear you guys' comments, and I'll see all of you in the next one.